It's time for the annual Kinda Funny membership drive. This year is half over and we've been busy. We've created a membership option that gets you all of the core content at our lowest price ever. We've moved the Kinda Funny Gamescast to a daily format and you've gotten more than 130 Gregways in 2024 alone. If you love what we do and haven't gotten a membership or let your membership lapse, we're asking you to support the 11-person independent small business you love, even if it's just for the month. We've even added a limited amount of pledge upgrades on Patreon that would get your into Kinda Funny Games daily. This month, look out for free Gregways from the vault on the weekends and weekly public happy hours where we take Patreon member calls live for everyone as previews of what a membership gets you each and every month. We couldn't do this without you, so thank you for your support.
Welcome, everybody, to Twister in Review. Very exciting times for disaster fans worldwide. We're back. Or is this just the beginning? I'm not quite sure.
Might be the end.
We haven't actually done disaster movies in review, but we do review disaster movies. But we're like, Joey beat me down with this one. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
I've been putting down the groundwork for this for months.
Yeah.
Like, we need
she
to
was
do
like,
Twisters.
We're doing Twister. I was like, if we can make it work, we're going to do it. And it did not fit perfectly, as y'all can see. We are not doing this when Twisters came out. We were doing it a couple weeks later, but there was demand for this. And I'm happy.
Mostly for me.
I'm happy we did it because, of course, I am joined today. I'm Tim Geddes. I'm joined by Joey Noel.
Hello, it's August.
Christmas in August, everybody. Of course, The Lock, Roger Picorni.
Enter the suck zone.
Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about the suck zone. The producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
The cone of silence.
And two of my favorite people in the entire world, James and Elise Willems.
Yay!
Hey, don't forget, the F rating is for how much damage it actually does, and it can't be incest until after the tornado is finished.
And I wore my best Garfield shirt for Roger.
Hey, thank you. It's incredible.
Huge fan.
That's incredible.
Love to see it. Kev, they're coming in a little loud now, a little louder than I thought. Going into the show, I thought it was good, but maybe just down just a tad there. But while you figure all that out, of course, this is Kinda Funny's in review. Each and every week, we get together to rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. We've just been doing the Deadpool rewatches. We added Logan to that. We even did Daredevil and Elektra, so you can check all those out. In fact, I highly recommend, if you haven't seen the Daredevil and Elektra episodes of In Review, because we went off the rails. Sometimes when movies are bad, they result in the best content. So definitely check those out. What's up?
I apologize, Sam. I'm so sorry. I know firsthand how hard it is when you're trying to get a thought out.
Do you?
But you have two idiot jabronis laughing. Mm-hmm. But Mike just walked into the room, and obviously, I want to be sensitive to this because he did hurt his back. But he just walked in like Biden. Like, can I show you what he looked like?
Oh no! Oh no!
You're not on camera yet. You got to keep coming.
It's accurate.
No.
That is what happened. Yeah, James and Elise, Mike hurt himself.
Yeah.
I still haven't heard the story
No.
of how, but
Do you want to know?
You want to know?
is the content safe? I don't know.
He was
Yeah.
he was just laying down.
He's sleeping.
He was just laying down. He just lay down in his bed for 18 hours.
Yeah,
Just
it's
hurt himself.
Tough.
Hurt himself.
That's how you know. That's how you know he's a super athlete.
Super athlete.
Happens
He's
to
always be
Olympians all the
moving.
time.
Always be
Always
moving.
moving like a shark.
Yep, everybody. Well, we're doing Twister in review, and what that's going to look like is today we're reviewing Twister. Next week we will be reviewing Twisters, which I'm very, very excited about. None of us at the table have seen Twisters yet, but James and Elise have. But the rules of the show are very clear, okay? No future spoilers. I don't want to be hearing about no future tornadoes, okay?
Done. Easy.
I appreciate that. But I also am just very, very excited to talk about Twister. But before we do that, real quick, wanted to let you know that we have some amazing Patreon producers: Carl Jacobs, Nathan Lamoth, Karen Lindner, Fargo Brady, Alex J. Sandoval, James Hastings, and Casey Andrew. You truly are the best of us. Thank you so much. Of course, you get the shows ad-free. You can watch live as we record them. You get the daily Gregways. And the ads, Monster Hunter Now, and BetterHelp. But we'll tell you about those later because we need to get right into it, Joey.
We do. We, at this table,
This
we have
table.
half of this table and a third of this panel has never seen Twister before,
I've
which
never
is
seen Twister.
wild.
This is like the last time that James and Elise graced us with their presence IRL. We got to watch Predator together, and half the office hadn't seen that. And I'm actually almost more excited to hear what people's perspectives are on Twister, because this movie is a ride.
It is. It is, everyone. We're talking about Twister, released May 10th, 1996.
Oh.
Directed by Jan de Bont.
Jan
de Bont.
de Bont.
Jan de Bont.
He is
everybody.
probably from the Dutch Netherlands, I imagine. James, does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
He was a cinematographer. I don't know how much you want me to take the Jan de Bont segment.
Can you take Jan de Bont? You take Jan de Bont, and I'll take Helen Hunt.
He was a cinematographer turned director. He has some awesome movies under his belt. Speed is another one of the films that he's made. But he was a DP on the film Roar. I don't know if anyone knows Roar.
No.
I don't.
So it was a movie made by
Melanie Griffith and Tippi Hedren. And
Melanie Griffith
Ooh, a little-
and Tippi Hedren.
that the
Tippi
mother-daughter
Hedren
combo?
actually, she and her husband actually owned a plot of land that just was filled with tigers and lions.
Big game cat.
I do know
They
that.
just loved it. They had this, and so they decided it'd be fun to make a movie about people like dealing with these cats and stuff with actually using. Don't think
Different
that's it.
roar.
That is absolutely
That's it. No, this looks right. If you look right on the left, that's
remake.
Tippi Hedren right
not
there.
even close. Not even close, but I appreciate the urgency.
I like that it's made by ARF Films.
Like a dog.
But unlike whatever that film was, this film was completely off the rails, and so many people got hurt.
So many people were
Most
injured in the
injuries.
cast
There's a
crew.
documentary about the making of the movie, about how many people got hurt, and the movie itself features so many on-screen. Nope, not that one either.
That's a different one.
Closer.
Oh, no, he's right.
I want to watch that. I don't know what
But
that
Jan de
was.
Bont was the DP, and he got scalped.
Yeah.
Scalped
What the
by
heck?
a lion on the set of this film.
And
Oh
he
my
survived?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about scalping. You generally survive.
No animals
it is.
were harmed
Yeah,
in
this
the
is
making
it.
of this film. 70 cast and crew members were.
That is a badass tagline for a movie.
With this poster. All right.
I will also add, on a more positive note for Jan de Bont's history, he was also the DP for Die Hard, which is something that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So you look at that. So you look at a lot of the stuff that comes from his action movies from that, and you see the lineage of that as well. But and he has a great hairpiece now because of the scalping.
Also directed Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life
Oh, I watched that.
Indeed,
I've
yeah.
watched that
Okay.
before. I've
in
watched that
2003. But yeah, Speed and Speed 2 Cruise Control. So yeah, there we go.
Sick.
There we go, everybody.
Just a
A
badass.
producer on Minority Report. So shout out
Oh,
to that.
interesting.
Shout out to that as well. We have a runtime of 1 hour.
Because I think there was a thing where he and Spielberg swapped, right?
Yeah.
Where Spielberg was like in talks to direct this, and then he was going to do Minority Report, and then they swapped.
Yeah, because Spielberg's a producer on this, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Music was done by Mark Mancina. Mancina's worked primarily as a composer for Hollywood soundtracks, such as his collaboration with Trevor Rabin on Con Air, Nick.
Great. I mean,
But more than
we
that,
love Con Air in this house.
this man integral to The Lion King and to
Oh.
Tarzan,
Oh.
which I found pretty surprising because apparently Hans Zimmer did a lot. Oh my God, I don't like that.
God.
I really don't like that.
gotta
But
sew that back
Hans
together.
Zimmer did the score to Lion King, like the orchestral stuff. But apparently it was Mark that kind of got a lot of the melodies in there.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
What's the number one song from Tarzan?
You'll be in my heart.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I was
Phil
talking
Collins.
shit just now, and I
Give me a little bit of
I'll
that.
dial that. You'll be in my heart,
Nah, not
and
really.
I'll
That's it.
be in
Oh,
your.
no, there it is. Actually, it took me a second.
Yeah,
there
there
it is.
you
There it is.
I'm glad that Nick knew the rest of the words because that was all I had.
Oh, you guys cut me off. It was about to go dark there. I was going to say I'll be in your
yeah.
closet as you sleep.
But more
Watching you
importantly,
sleep.
Nick, more importantly,
Hiding under your bed.
Mark Mancina here also did the score for Speed. But the most important thing, did the score for Bad Boys. And
That's what's funny is why did I have that in my brain? I was going to say Bad Boys.
You just knew. He was the man that composed the Bad Boys theme.
Bum, 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 bum. God, that's
Still
so
used
good.
to this
Roger, what'd you think of Bad Boys?
I liked it. I had
There
a
you
good
go.
time. I had a good
I made
time.
him
I'm excited for
watch.
two. I'm excited for two.
Oh,
Also,
you're
here's the
gonna love
thing: if he did
Sorry for the hit.
Speed,
really hard.
that means he indirectly did Metal Gear Solid 2.
That's
The
how
Metal
it
Gear
goes.
Solid theme is a ripoff of
It's a straight up rip off. So
Did we just talk about
perfect.
games on In Review?
Oh,
Like that.
we got something there.
That's not what I'm here for.
this one has a budget of $92 million and a box office of $495.7 million, making it the second highest grossing movie in 1996. Second highest grossing cast of this show. Behind what?
1996.
96?
No.
Probably a Matrix movie.
No, that's 99.
No, 99.
Oh, shit, 96. Let me go back.
Too late.
Lethal Weapon 4.
No.
Bad Boys.
No.
2.
No.
No.
I don't know.
Shit, 96.
Batman and
Number
Robin?
one.
I'm so hard at this.
So the
I'm so bad at
second
this.
was Twister at
Yeah.
495 mil. Number one at
Saving Private
817 mil. Independence Day.
Oh.
Independence
Yep,
Day
yep.
How
at
did we
number
forget?
one.
What a
Weird
good
disaster.
summer.
Yeah, and like, dude, like that's hundreds of million above. Like pretty wild stuff. But what was right below it at number 3?
Tarzan.
Toy Story 2?
Mission Impossible. Mission
No,
Impossible.
the original Mission Impossible.
Uh-huh. Right behind that.
The second one?
Mission Impossible?
Didn't you say Mission Impossible 2?
No. Mission
Oh, the
Impossible
first
1.
No,
The
yeah.
first one, 96.
Yeah.
So Independence Day, then Twister, then Mission Impossible, then The Rock.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
The Rock got a raw deal on that one. The Rock's the better movie out of all of those.
For a year.
That's like a
Holy cow.
that's a
I
lineup.
wish I was alive back then.
And then we got The Hunchback of Notre Dame right after that, which was the new Disney movie
I've
that
still
year
never seen that.
at
Nick,
325.
what's the top song from Hunchback?
Oh, we'll make a man out of you.
No, it's the one where the guy sings about wanting to bang that Esmeralda. No one's seen it, so it
No.
doesn't mean. But everyone out there that's seen Hunchback is like, oh, very funny. That is in the movie.
So at 325 million, it was Hunchback. But at 320 million, the re-release of 101 Dalmatians.
Oh yeah, let's
That's
go.
just kinda
When did
wild.
that movie
That's
come out? The
interesting.
original one.
Like 60s, maybe
Yeah.
like maybe 50s.
My man Pongo.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to Pongo. Shout out to Spot.
If you told me that came out in the 90s, I would have believed you. I don't know. It all,
That
Well,
was
that's
a
the thing.
reboot.
oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's a
That's
live
like,
action.
yeah, because like they had their Renaissance era, and then they're like, oh shit, the Hunchback really ain't it, guys. Bring out the dogs. Then a movie called Ransom behind that. I'm unfamiliar with
Oh,
the
that's,
Ransom.
Mel
Mel
Gibson.
Gibson. Mel Gibson.
Oh.
He goes, I'm giving this money to anyone that finds the guy who took my son.
Badass.
Remember that?
Badass.
pretty
I
cool.
think I have seen that.
Yeah, it's not a great movie. I think Renee Russo's in that maybe as the wife. Am I
Sounds
crazy
right.
in that?
That sounds
Yeah.
right.
Well, you're thinking of her from Lethal Weapon, maybe.
I might be thinking of her from the weapon.
Sick poster.
Maybe
He
got
often
them together
does.
again.
Then the,
spin off.
the final 3 out of the top 10 highest grossing films of 1996. At number 8, The Nutty Professor.
Oh, fun one.
Nutty
What a
Professor.
time.
Little Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy classic.
Then Jerry Maguire.
Show me the
Behind that?
money.
Yeah.
And
Who's
at the
coming
number
with me?
10 spot, Space Jam.
Oh.
1996. Quite the year for films.
Number 10.
Number 10.
Nick, I have
Wow.
to apologize. It is Renee Russo.
We had it was
I cannot believe I remember that correctly. I think I saw that movie one time in theaters and was like, not my favorite Mel Gibson film. Never watched it again.
And Gary Sinise.
Apocalypto.
Okay, I do remember Gary Sinise being. Never mind. I don't want spoilers for if one person's gonna watch Ransom after this.
Yeah. Dang it.
And then some facts about awards here. Twister was nominated or won just a bunch of awards. The Academy Awards, it was nominated, didn't win, but nominated for Best Visual Effects and Best Sound. And then normally I look at a Wikipedia and there's not that many awards when I'm scrolling, unless it's like a movie we obviously know like that's going to win a lot. But this one, a whole bunch of them. And I just want to start this by saying I have some bones to pick with some of these people here because the Golden Raspberry Awards, this got nominated. The Razzies, all right?
Razzies, yeah.
Got nominated for a couple things. Jamie Gertz here, nominated for Worst Supporting Actress.
No.
No. Unfortunately, no.
No.
Just
No way.
no fucking way.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
This is the big question that I think we were going to wait. But raise your hand if you hadn't seen Twister before. Right, okay. Now, who is the bad guy in this movie?
It's tornadoes.
Like, who's the
Yeah,
anti? Okay,
tornadoes.
secondary bad guys. We've got Carrie Elwes.
Gary
right?
Elwes?
Yeah.
And then somehow, when I first watched this, I think they
on the same
tried
page.
to paint Jamie Gertz as like an antagonist. Watching this again, she is the only decent
Yes.
human being in this whole fucking
She's
film.
exceptionally gracious with the things
Yes.
that Bill Paxton puts her through and is so nice about it.
Yeah, there's one small scene, it's the diner scene, where they try to paint it a little
Yeah.
bit, but then
Yeah.
they just kind of pull back on that pretty fast. Yeah.
Like, I remember watching this when I was a kid being like, I don't think this is what they were going for here was working. Because this actually makes me not like Joe or Bill at all. Because this person's so nice and so well put together. And I'm going to say it, a much better match for Bill's crazy than Joe because those two ramp each other up and they're very dysfunctional.
I mean, yeah. I know what Joe would add
fucking
here,
really
but the amount of
dysfunctional.
times in this movie that this group of people get real excited to go into a tornado and not achieve what they're trying to do is fucking insane.
It's insane.
They are basically like Amy Poehler and Will Arnett from Arrested Development, who are constantly like being like, let's do this crazy thing together.
Yes.
They're that.
It's so wild to me because back in the day, like even to this day, like they would have the other woman painted as a little bit more, I don't know, as mean, right?
Yeah.
Like just crueler to him, so that when it made
so that you root
the
for him
choice
and
of,
Helen Hunt.
exactly.
Yeah.
But in this one, first off, let's take a side for a second. I've always had a crush on Jamie Gertz. She was in The Lost Boys. It was one of my favorite movies. She was fantastic in that. So seeing her pop back up in this, I was like. No disrespect to Helen Hunt because I love Mad About You, but I was like, Bill, what the fuck are you doing?
I love Mad About You.
Who
Doesn't
we all
love Mad About You.
Paul Reiser, GOAT. But I remember watching this being like, wait a minute, she's really nice. She's Jamie Gertz, so I'm a huge fan. Terrible hair, but great shoulder pads and a great career. I was like, why would he not pick her? It's just confounding.
It's
to
very
me.
weird.
Confounding
It's
to me.
different worlds. That's what makes this movie so good. Is that it's about the characters and what they think is right versus what is actually who they are. It's like such a classic like hero's journey.
There's a cut of this movie though, James, where it turns out that the storm chasers are actually psychopaths the entire time, just trying to get other people around them killed.
Well, we're not supposed to talk about twisters.
No.
But,
Okay.
so I'm not gonna. But
So that's the thing, everybody. I just wanted to point out, like, her being nominated for worst supporting actress, I'd take personal offense to because I feel like the character bizarre. But yeah, like I totally see what you're saying. I'm like, it's a weird choice. No way is she worst supporting actress. Get the hell out of here with that.
Especially when you have the storm chasers being the most extreme dorky dude bros around them, saying the stupidest, most cliche lines you could possibly imagine, where it's like, spill the same blood in the same mud. It's time to ramp this up, Mountain Dew. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like Philip Seymour Hoffman in this is so outrageous.
He's so fun.
But it's so fun. It's so stupid fun.
Justice for Jamie.
I have justice for Melissa written in my notes no less than 4 times throughout this movie as I was rewatching it. I was like, man, she got a bad
rap.
bad trip.
Now, here's an important thing that I read. The CGI cow was built from a CGI zebra from the 1995 film Jumanji.
Oh, like the bones.
Is that good? Is it like
I just think it's
how much
funny.
time did they save?
It's funny that it's like that. Well, because think about like the CG back then. Like this was nominated for Academy Awards. It was like this was cutting edge shit. But I love that they're just like, oh man, Jumanji had cutting edge shit. Let's just turn the zebra into a cow. And like the cow in Twister is this iconic movie moment. And I love that it was just a fucking zebra. You know what I mean?
Just hiding.
I feel a little betrayed here, Twister.
I went back recently and watched Jumanji because it was just on, I think, AMC or something like that. And it suffers from the same interesting like CG that this one does, where everything looks a little too light and a little not contrasty when it's CG. And like it's like CG, the CG in Jumanji is bad. It was bad back then. It's notoriously bad in my brain. Like the monkeys just don't look. They look like cartoons, but. There's a couple shots in that you're like, yeah, I could see that the team like shared some level of resource with whoever must have done this. Iconically, the little hippo, or remember the rhino that struggles last? Apparently that was a mistake. They just left in. That's a fact for Jumanji whenever we do Jumanji in review.
Jumanji in review. You watch Jumanji? The OG Jumanji?
Yeah, I've seen the OG Jumanji.
That's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I like it.
Why are we talking about Jumanji so much?
You're
Are
right.
we talking about games? We're talking about Jumanji. What are we doing here?
Let's get into what actually matters. Our thoughts on Twister 1996. Roger, you've never seen it, so I want to start with you. What'd you think?
I was very hesitant going into this movie, right? Because I see the title. I see that my only connection to this is I think I love the 90s. I remember there was like a section where I'm sure Flavor Flav talked about it or something like that. And I was like, they're talking about the cow. And I'm like, okay, sure, this looks like a disaster movie. And I was expecting a twister in the beginning, a twister at the end, and then just a lot of talking. And I was so impressed by everything about this movie. It has characters that I don't know if I necessarily like really, really care about, but I cared about by the ending, right? Like they have enough human element to draw me, but there's so many fucking twisters in this movie. There's so many tornadoes, and it felt like we're always doing something. And I think the part that it really got me was when we got to the point where it's like, oh no, we're saving somebody from a house falling in from itself.
Meg.
Like we're talking about like the twisters, like not just the twister, but like the aftermath of a twister. I was like, oh, you guys got me, bro. Like I love this movie so much, and I was kind of angry afterwards because like this should have been one that my parents showed me. Like this should have been the one they looked at me and said, hey, this is the holy grail of film, like you should watch Twister. And I felt a little cheated. So yeah, I love this movie a lot.
James, what about you? How many times have you seen Twister?
I've seen it countless times. So put it into frame of reference. I saw this in theaters. I remember my friend and I went. There's a drive-in scene with a very famous movie that everyone's watching in the drive-in. I knew Twister first. I remember when my friend came to me like 6 months later and he's like, I figured out what movie was playing on the drive-in theater screen in Twister. And I was like, oh, something called The Shining? I was like, maybe we watch it because it's association with Twister. That's how that started.
That's unbelievable.
I love that.
That's unbelievable.
But watching this movie again, because we watched it this weekend, how far have we strayed from God's light? So far, in the last 2 decades of filmmaking, we don't know how to make a good movie anymore.
Only Jan
at
will.
all. We don't have characters that move the story along. We don't think about the events and actually like make a top 10 list of what are the 10 coolest things we'd like to see happen during a tornado and put them all in. We don't do any of that shit. We just pop stuff into a computer and then spit out or whatever. It's so good. This movie is so good. And I think the reason it's so good is because it's not a hot young cast. It's Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. Two actors who by this point had been working for probably decades?
Yeah.
Decades at this point, within working all kinds of materials. So you give them the dumbest shit that is like literally them taking their emotions and their feelings and describing the plot on the most surface level, but they are chewing the scenery and they're getting you invested and you're totally bought in for them and they're kind of back and forth. It's just so great. The whole movie takes place in like 24 hours. They don't stop moving. Everything is like part of the maison scene. The yellow truck that she drives, the red truck that he drives, Dorothy, everything is a design choice as opposed to just something that's thrown in after the fact, and I fucking love this movie.
Elise?
Earlier, James and I were talking about how when this movie came out, one of the big marketing pieces was we had to imagine what the inside of a tornado looked like because we didn't know. And that's something that stuck with us both from childhood was, wow, Twister, they had to somehow materialize on screen something that we humanity could never possibly
We just couldn't
know.
possibly contemplate it.
I still don't know if we've seen the inside of a tornado.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that Twister is what we have to go by. They've probably seen it. They've absolutely seen it. They've thrown a GoPro in a tornado. Who hasn't? Like, James is Googling what does the inside of a tornado look like. But my God, like this was a scientific...
May 2nd, 2022. There are no visual observations from inside of a tornado.
But
to this
they
day.
did it. They did it. And everything James said is absolutely on the money. This is Jan de Bont. It's a classic action movie.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is... The tornado is scary. The tornado sounds like a lion. Like, did Jan just take some...
He did.
Recording
He thought of the scariest
Roar?
noise. The scariest noise he's ever heard is the sound of a lion.
Like, they make the tornadoes actually sound like monsters, and it's dark and ominous, and we can't talk about this in the context of Twisters, I know, but wow, what a film.
Yeah, I was reading a thing where for the sound of tornado, it was like all the scariest animals you can think
we
of.
got like a Jurassic Park kind of situation.
All of their sounds with jet sounds.
Oh,
like that's cool as
jet.
hell. So cool.
Oh, yeah.
Nicholas Scarpino.
I mean, Twisters is a classic. I love Twister. Excuse me, is a classic. We'll see about Twisters. I probably watch this movie once every 2-3 years. It's one of Dee's favorite films. It's one of those movies where you have
that is a fun lore piece for Dee.
Oh, we love it. I mean, we saw this in theaters. I thought when I was 16 in theaters. It's one of those movies that's just it's so outlandish in its concept, but so well executed with the cast and how the movie is paced, and it draws you into a world that you didn't ever think you would need to. I knew nothing about storm chasers, didn't know this was a real thing. It draws you into this world and does everything what a good movie should. It takes you along on this adventure and shows you a whole new world that you didn't even think you could expose. Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton as a casting were inspired choices. Bill Paxton, of course, not a leading guy when you think about him. I think about him as in his incredible support roles in like Aliens
Titanic.
or on
pre-Titanic.
Weird Science.
Apollo 13.
Apollo 13, but again, support role. The show that he did about the Mormons, I think, right, with the sister wives,
Big Love.
Those are more roles that I think of. So when he came to this movie as like a lead for this big budget disaster blockbuster film, I was like, huh. You gotta sell me a little, Bill Paxton, and he's just so damn likable and so charming in this, and his chemistry with Helen Hunt's fantastic. I read a piece of trivia that said it was supposed to be Tom Hanks originally in this role, and Hanks was like, I don't think I'm right for this, but recommended Bill Paxton because he'd worked with him in Apollo 13 because he was like, it needs to be a little bit more roughnecky, sort of southerny, and Paxton has that twang. And he's just perfect, man. It's a movie that's so fun. The supporting cast is great. Shout out to R.I.P. Philip Seymour Hoffman. And yeah, man, I'll watch it every 3 years probably and still love it for the rest of my life.
Joey.
This is such an interesting movie to talk about because growing up, this is like a core Takagami family movie that we watch all the time. Like, I have distinct memories of seeing this movie, and then also like burned in my brain is the fact that we bought this on DVD the same day that I got a Razor scooter.
Well, apparently, like this movie on DVD was like a big deal. Like this was like one of the first handfuls of movies released on DVD. Period.
Yeah, like we went to some mall somewhere, and I distinctly remember being like, "Oh, we get to get Twister." This is so cool. So I was like a little bit worried to rewatch it because I'm kind of like Nick where I'll watch it every couple years. But whenever we watch stuff for in review, we like take more notes and like think a little bit more critically of it. And I'm like, oh, I hope this means that like I still don't like it as much. And I am happy to say it's still so good. Like I would watch this movie every year, multiple times a year and just have fun. Going off of what James was saying about like the cast of characters and the way that they use color and stuff like that, my other favorite part is the way that they handle Jonas, his whole team, where they're all in the sleek black, like matching
corpos,
uniforms, like everything in that juxtaposition with the ragtag color, like everything looks different. Everything's kind of piecemeal. And I think that is such a fun visual style to show the difference between the two teams and stuff like that. And Cary Elwes and Bill Paxton going at each other in that parking lot is just chef's kiss perfect. I love this. Tim.
It was my first time, y'all. And thank you for allowing me to join you and people that just absolutely freaking love Twister. What a movie this is. Like, we always talk about, film or, this one. This is a movie, man. We don't get things like this anymore. And all it took for me was the first 5 minutes of the movie where the score sets in and the score is reacting to every single camera motion and every character that's introduced. Like some different wacky instrument will pop in when like, now it's a little more Western, or like now it's like they knew what they were doing. The camera opening of the sweeping, like I'd say drone shot, but helicopter shot probably, or maybe like camera on a crane on a truck or whatever the hell it was. It's old school as hell. And we just see all the fields and the camera goes from one road to another and we see the trucks coming in. I'm just like, this was not what I expected. The energy going into this, and I'm very excited about it. I knew it was going to be a disaster movie, right? This is a disaster film. We're used to seeing things like this. I'm like Roger. Okay, it's tornadoes. It's twisters. What? How many times could they face off against this thing without it just being utterly ridiculous? What are they even going to do to raise the stakes anytime we see it come back? And this movie slapped me in the face and said, shut the fuck up, Tim, and be entertained, because we're just going to go from set piece to set piece to set piece, introduce a bunch of characters that you are going to like, at the very least enough, at the very most, you're going to love and remember forever. I love the scene of them all in the caravan, one by one, listening to different music in their cars as they're storm chasing. Come the fuck on. But I knew this was going to be a disaster film. I did not expect it to fall into the Tim Geddes' favorite category of entertainment of all time, right up there with The Fast and the Furious and Karate Kid, where we're going to make a movie about a cast of characters in a place where the most important thing in the world is whatever the subject of the movie is. Every fucking character in this movie has something to do with the weather. And they're like, all right, we got the storm chasers, we got the scientists, we got weathermen being brought up as if they're celebrities here. Like, I understand that the news, like, I normally like talk shit about the news covering things live and like characters finding out. It fucking makes sense here because it's the news and it's tornadoes and they need to tell the people to get the fuck out of the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These small little towns. Obsessed, y'all. I can't believe how many different avenues they can run down where storms and weather are topics for people's every word. Like, how many times have they done this, Joey, that they need this many shorthand call-outs for things?
Oh, apparently not enough because they're making new ones. My favorite is the opening title card too, when they like underline the first letter of the acronym so you know what it means.
NSSL or whatever it is.
Like, did we need this?
Man.
I don't know.
You gotta take it seriously. James, I saw your hand raised.
I just want to add to what you're saying, Tim. One of my favorite scenes, Joey, you already mentioned it, but even prior, when they fight in the parking lot, what's happening is Carrie Elwes's character is showing a bunch of locals his science machine, and they're crowded around it like, whoa. It's like who gives
The god
a shit?
has left the skies and come down to earth to explain
He's
to
like,
us.
I will be your salvation, farmers, or whatever.
It's
And I mean,
absurd.
I can go on literally for days, but then you start seeing the brilliance of the casting of all these different people, and Cameron from Ferris Bueller pops up.
Love it.
And I'm just like, God damn, I love this
I
movie.
keep forgetting. I always forget who, like, the extended cast in this movie is so good.
Jake Busey's in there somewhere, too.
somewhere.
background.
He's in
All right,
everything.
we're going to get into the plot of all of this after a quick word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Monster Hunter Now. There's never been a better time to jump in and play Monster Hunter Now. The game allows you to embark on a global quest in the real world to track down and hunt monsters from the Monster Hunter universe with your friends. For a limited time, earn a powerful Mr. Beast sword and shield, the perfect starter weapon for new hunters via the Mr. Beast quest line. Check this out.
Late for work. Then Monster Hunter. Now. Boring date. Then Monster Hunters. Now. Then. Now. Then. Now. Then. Now. Then.
Not now.
Then. Now. Monster Hunter Now. Hunt anywhere.
Download Monster Hunter Now by scanning this QR code or going to kindafunny.com/Monster Hunter Now. Again, go to kindafunny.com/Monster Hunter Now to get Monster Hunter Now. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Every once in a while, it is important to check in and ask yourself, what are your self-care non-negotiables? When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. Some of Tim's best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny.
We have no Andy, so we have no plot song.
Yeah.
It's sad. One of the rare Andy in review misses.
His
Feels
presence is sorely missed, but I will just soldier on right now with the plot of Twister. Cow.
Okay.
That's how we're going to start, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what this movie is. It's just a cow floating in the sky as absurdly as possible. We go back, of course, to young Joe and her family. They're caught off guard by, you guessed it, Joe.
Alexa Vega. Alexa Vega is the little girl from Spy Kids. Does anybody care about
Oh.
Is she really?
this? Yeah, that's her.
I would have never recognized her.
No, I did not. I've never
that
seen
is
Spy
wild.
Girls, but I'll go Spy Kids. I'll go back and watch.
He doesn't know where he is anymore.
My apologies.
The Joe Biden thing.
What's in that can?
we're gonna sleep in our cars today. We're gonna sleep 18 hours, hurt our backs. Let's see. Let me tell you, man. They get caught off guard by this. Oh my God! It's Twister. It's coming right now.
Holy
it's coming.
shit.
Head down to their storm shelter. But Papa Joe has to hold the door down. For what reason? I don't know.
Forget the dog. We forgot the dog.
Toby.
The dog was literally right there,
Come
and
on.
they didn't bring the dog.
This
This
the
is so
dog.
My
upsetting.
only connection with that is like they didn't like that dog, and they were like, no. We're gonna use this as an excuse to get rid of this dog.
They've done training with the dog. The dog knows when it hears the siren, go to the bunker. They've worked. The dog,
Okay.
It's like the lifeguards can't save everybody, right? You know?
Sure. The mom had 2 open hands.
I know, man. They did Toby wrong there. And when somehow the storm's all happening and the dog finds the cellar, I don't care how many times he trained this dog. No way. No fucking way is this dog getting over there. But thank justice for Toby.
This scene feels so Jurassic Park because it's one of those things where you're watching it and you're like gripping the couch. You're like, Jesus, like the intensity is building. Something happens. You're like, oh my God. But then you watch it again. You're like, why was he holding the door?
Why is he holding the door?
Yep.
Yep.
Why are the
Mom
windows
was just hanging out in the back. Everyone was fine. Like it looks like you could just sit in the back and you'd be fine or whatever. Also, he gets in and he closes it and he does that little lock.
Yeah.
This happens a lot in this movie. It happens like several times in the movie where someone closes a rickety door held together by 2 nails and then pulls the lock shut as a giant mile-long tornado comes towards them.
Completely absurd. Of course, the dad gets sucked out, and Joe is powerless to save him. Unlike Clark Kent from Man of Steel, who could have easily saved his dad and the dog, probably without anyone seeing it. Present day, Oklahoma.
Just to say, amazing opening. Everything James said, so true. Like the tension here. This was like, oh, we're strapping in for something special because it could have went a million different ways. Did not expect the dad with the door to just get ripped straight into the thing as the kid watches. Like that was intense as fuck. And then a time jump.
Yeah.
What?
Well, there has
This
to
is
be
the
a
kind
reason.
of thing.
Go ahead.
This stays with you for the rest of your life.
100%.
Maybe even ruins your marriage. Okay.
It is, and I read another piece of trivia saying this was Spielberg's idea because originally they just had them get trapped in there, and she saw it and was scared, and he was like, "It's not good. It's not a good enough reason for her to devote her life to this." Her dad, she had to have seen her dad sucked up into the sky because he was too stupid to let go of the fucking door and just go farther back into this protective structure that they're in and live.
Also, as it's happening, she's experiencing that trauma, but they have so many shots where she's looking up through like a little skylight at like what's happening. Like you can see it, like this is where it's all began. This is like her origin story, villain or superhero or otherwise. Like it affected her on a chemical level.
I'm gonna say yes to the villain part of that, right? Because and you guys tell me if I'm crazy, because I've seen this movie a lot, and it's to the point where you look at something too many times and it takes on a different meaning, right? Is she not? Roger, this is for you.
Oh,
You're
shit.
fresh in this, right?
Yeah.
Everyone else turn away from me. Don't look at me when I say this. Is she not just a little horny for these twisters?
Oh yeah, and everybody's horny
They
for
all
these
are,
twisters.
yeah.
But she's horny because she saw her dad die, and it's like fetish now, right? She's like, every time I think about this, I think about my dad could have been here, and it turns me on. It's like, Joe, set up. Like the part underneath the little bridge where she's like, I gotta see it. And I'm like, why?
I think
like she's expecting like, Papa, and he just lands in front of her 20 years
And
later.
that's the thing that I think, I was confused about, but I don't know anything about this movie, right? So I was like, where's the mystical element to this? Because there's so many parts where I was like, especially that, like I need to see inside of it. Like, are they going to get inside of it and it's going to turn back time? Like, is she going to try to save her?
Amazing. It's like Contact. Yeah, exactly.
I've never seen Contact. Can we add that to this in review?
Great
Oh, yeah.
movie. Anyway, here we go, folks. Present day, we meet Bill and Dr. Melissa Reeves. They're on their way to find Joe because they got to get her to sign these divorce papers so that they can't get married. Shout out to Jamie Gertz, of course, who, if you've never seen The Lost Boys, and it's Halloween time right around the corner, it is my #1 Halloween movie of all time. It is one of the best vampire movies ever made. It's
Greasy
fucking
Sax
fantastic.
Man.
Oh, Greasy Sax Man. Shirtless Greasy Sax Man.
Nick, you want to come down in October? We hang under a bridge.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be fun. Actually, the bridge is up here. The bridge they shot that on is in Santa Cruz, if you guys want to pop
I'm on my way to you.
Also, shout out to, we're going to go through the cast here, man. Shout out to R.I.P. Philip Seymour Hoffman, Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
What's his name, Nick?
What's that?
Alan
Dusty.
Ruck.
Dusty. The Dust Man.
The Dust Man. And shout out to that kid from, I think from Road Trip, or no, from the Aaron Burr commercial. Remember that kid? No. Aaron Burr. He ate the peanut butter and he couldn't answer the phone. He couldn't answer the radio call because the answer was Aaron Burr. Aaron Burr. He couldn't say it because he had peanut butter in his
One of the
mouth.
most popular commercials of all time, directed by who, Nick?
Oh, I don't know.
Fuck.
Michael Bay.
No shit, Michael Bay directed
Is
that.
this like one of those
Michael
alternate
Bay
universe
invented
things?
Got Milk.
Kevin, can you? Oh, it's the Got
Did
Milk
he
commercial.
really?
That's right. Can you look up Aaron Burr Got Milk, Kevin? If you're in there still.
Which I'm confused.
I
now.
have no idea.
Backing up. Got Milk, the dairy industry.
Yeah.
Launched
Big
a
Milk.
campaign, I think, in the 90s called Got Milk.
Yes.
Yes,
right?
that we were
Mario
familiar
Michael
with.
Bay. That Michael Bay was the creative force behind.
This was one of the commercials, and
Michael
if
Bay
I
not
got this
busy?
guy right, if it's the same actor,
This is
I'm gonna
before he made movies. This is before Bad Boys.
look up. This is the Aaron Burr one, though. Oh yeah, who shot? This is it. This is it right here. Let's watch this.
Yeah.
We're gonna get.
Can't wait for Big Milk to take us down later.
Oh, it's not the same actor, but I totally screwed
know
this
what?
up.
It looks like Mouse or whatever from Matrix. So is that who it is?
And now
I-
let's
Oh no,
Is
it
it
is.
not?
It's him.
It
It's
is.
him.
Like
It is
him.
him.
$10,000 question. It's a tough one. Who shot Alexander
he's just
Hamilton
really going
in
for
that
it.
famous duel? All right, let's go to the phones and see who's out there. Hello, for $10,000. Who shot? Excuse me? Your time is almost up. I'm sorry, maybe next time.
Why are they? If it's like a trivia thing,
Why
why are they calling him?
Yeah, I never understood that as a kid.
You know, I never thought about that.
I never understood that as a kid.
Michael Bay.
Never occurred to me. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Anyway, look, we're introduced to Joe and the Storm Chasers because they're prepping. Because I glossed over the fact that there is an organization called the NSSL, the National Severe Storm League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I don't know. And these people, not named at all, just pop up when we need them.
Yeah.
We don't know where they're at, but what I appreciate is as these storms gather, and this is the biggest fucking storms that ever happened. There's 9 of them coming together, the perfect storm, just like that Mark Wahlberg movie. As these storms gather, these people are more and more in states of undress. That dude starts with a tie, and by the end of the movie, he is fucking shirtless, hair disheveled. Maybe they fucked in the back. I don't know. I don't know what these people are doing at the NSSL. And for a long time, I thought they were in space because we showed space.
Oh yeah.
You're right. With the world's worst satellite scene.
bad,
dude.
so bad.
What a way to start that.
Anyway, we're giving the storm chasers their chasing, right? Joe, of course, is dragging her feet on signing the final page. Joe, it reminds me a little bit of what was the Julia Roberts movie, My Best Friend's Wedding? Was that right? Where she's just kind of mean the whole time.
Yeah,
That's
but I
kinda Joe
love
in
that
this.
movie. So like,
Well, you don't pick up on it so much. Like when I remember not picking up on it so much as a kid, but as an adult watching it, you're like, oh, she really doesn't want this marriage to end.
Yes.
Like she still loves him, and so she's constantly like, "Oh, let me meet her. Oh, I'll sign. Oh, how did I forget to sign that?" Like
Yeah.
she's like
That one page,
she's
yeah.
stalling for as much time as she can. She's like, if I can convince him. Oh, by the way, did I show you Dorothy's here? You know, like all these things.
On top of
as
that,
she's
of course,
switching her ring so he doesn't notice that she's still wearing it.
which I think
Well, then when she finds out that he's like, "Oh, why do
Yeah.
you need this thing?" It's like, "Oh, because I'm getting married." And she's like, "Oh, shit."
by the way, she switches her ring from the wrong hand. Oh no, she takes her class ring and hides the ring.
She
Yeah,
hides
that's
it.
what
in
That
her
makes
costume.
sense. Of course, the big underlying thing here is that Dorothy is ready. Dorothy is this big, cool new device that I love. To James's earlier point, the production design of which is so cool because it's so rough and ready. It's just like a big tanker full of these little tiny sensors, and they want to put it in the middle of a hurricane and use all the sensors to finally map what's going on in the eye of this storm. They built them. Of course, they built 4 of them just in case the plot needs them later down the road.
Of course.
Future-proofing.
Again, not to bring it back to Contact, but why build 1 when you can build 2 for twice the price?
Yeah, and Bill Paxton's acting here really sold it. Of like he's like, I just need to get out of here. I'm not back, and then him just, oh my gosh, Dorothy. That got me.
They got it. Of course,
What got me was the new wife, the new almost wife, hanging out with the Dust Man, and when he introduces her to what they call the suck zone.
the suck zone.
The suck zone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, they're taking this so seriously, saying the most insane things, and thank God for this character because it makes it all work.
My favorite.
He's also. Oh, good.
Oh, I was just gonna say my favorite is Dusty plays the same role as the guy that's explaining the Titanic boat crash in Titanic with like all the models and stuff like that. And they have that same like chaotic energy and like weird passion about it. And I just it's a
And Bill
great
Paxton's there, yeah, it's
all of the
crazy.
exposition that they're able to get through with these fun characters is my favorite.
Now you want to talk about the beautiful juxtapositions in these movies, right? Jonas Miller is there also, and man, he and his team were a bunch of corpo assholes, sellouts. But thank God they don't have Dorothy. Oh wait, they do have Dorothy. It's called Dot 3, I think. Yeah, but its balls aren't balls, Tim. Its balls are cubes.
Yep. Yep.
So as to alleviate any product infringement worries that our legal team might have here, shout the fuck out to Cary Elwes, who's just perfect in everything. Perfect in his absolute imperfection in this movie, because he's playing this fucking cartoon one-dimensional villain in this, and it's great.
I mean, at this point in my life, I've only seen him in two things. One, of course, the Saw movies.
Yeah,
which,
of course.
Good Lord, I love him in. But then the other was a new addition to my life, The Princess Bride.
Oh.
One of Gia's favorite movies of all time, and I had not seen it until last year.
I still haven't seen it.
And it's Joey lives up to all the hype anybody's ever built up. It's utterly fantastic, and he is utterly fantastic.
I beg you to watch Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Oh, Robin Hood Men in Tights is really good.
Good. See, and I want more because seeing this movie, I didn't realize there was an in between. You know what I mean? I knew that there was Princess Bride era, and I knew that there's Saw era. I didn't realize that maybe not halfway, but maybe halfway mark we're getting this guy, and I love this guy. So Robin Hood Men in Tights,
it's real
I'm
fun.
there, baby.
The race is on, ladies and gentlemen. The first one to get their Dorothy up in the air and flying will make history and get credit.
Did they explain, what was the explanation how do they have this
They stole it.
They worked in the same lab. All three of them worked in the same weather lab together.
Gotcha.
And they were working on this technology.
And the other one was swear literally to avoid copyright, or is that just?
I'm joking. I'm assuming.
I think it probably
Gotcha.
But it's also just to show the difference, production design wise between the two.
And
we don't really
if you think about it, it also shows like when you get into the point with later in the movie about like what would actually work and what wouldn't work. It seems like it's such a misguided attempt, right? Like when you copy something without understanding the intention of what you're copying, right? So he clearly copied it because it's cubes, and cubes would never fly in something like that.
Yeah.
So I think there's like that element as well.
Not fully understanding everything and just.
But I wonder if the cubes could fly if we very intricately cut up a bunch of soda cans.
Not any soda cans. Pepsi.
We'll get there. That's a good scene.
We'll get there.
Egregious product placement.
I'll tell you what. Who sponsored this movie? Shout out to Pepsi. Bill, of course. This was the first time we get the insight that Bill is like the tornado whisperer.
Can we also talk about Bill's name in this movie?
That his name is just Bill?
His name is Bill.
Fucked up.
Bill Paxton plays Bill.
Yeah.
It tickles me.
Can we also talk about that this was just of an era, Tim, where a leading man didn't have to have a great hairline? That's why I love him. Bill Paxton. You know what I mean? Never had a good hairline. Maybe in Aliens it was kind of there, the flat top, but for the rest of his life, receding. And I'm here for it.
Every man needs a hero, Nick. Yeah.
Thank you. Bill, of course, is the tornado whisperer, everyone. He just sits and he looks out to the horizon and realizes that the storm is coming and we got to go left.
We also skimmed over the fact that Bill's nickname is The Extreme.
The Extreme.
Oh.
Nothing extreme about this man.
Hold on.
He's not
that was an evil Bill from a time long ago, and he killed him.
He killed him. So Bill has the sixth sense, but also Melissa has a sixth sense too. It's just like the rest of the audience. She can tell that Joe is still madly in love with Bill. Joe and Bill argue about why they broke up. Bill never finished any there. And in the car now, they're in that cool, her truck, which is that cool yellow truck, which I don't even know what make and model it is, but I want one. They're arguing over the radio. Everyone can hear them. Radios, by the way, in this world can pick up the conversations that aren't even happening in the car.
No, yeah.
Heartbreaking moment for Jamie Gertz here.
Yes. Realizing that, of course, they're still in love.
Is this the part where they're getting lemonade?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, this is after the lemonade.
Okay, because I love that moment that they have in the diner where they're like kind of sizing each other up for everything. And then Helen Hunt takes her check and says, "We're together," right after Jamie says something about her and Bill Paxton. It's like, oh, the writer's just killing it. Helen Hunt, still in love with him. He's still mine, but I'm also going to use this line for the check. And it's going to work both ways. And it's perfect.
Michael Crichton. And
he's
Anne
got
Marie.
the stuff.
How is that?
We didn't even talk about that.
We didn't.
Crichton. It's like a real writer.
Yeah, that was actually something I did not know about until I started looking up some trivia like last night. I didn't realize that he and his wife wrote this. And are you familiar with Michael Crichton?
Of course.
Wild. I just randomly wrote this movie.
Was this also a book? Or
I
just
don't
a
think so.
screenplay?
I think he wrote it as a screenplay from what I could gather, but Roger, my assistant, will look it up.
I will look it up.
RaGu, by the way, has been RaGu, who's by the way been pulling an alpha move on me this entire time, and I haven't said anything because I'm a bigger man than he is. But if you look at his seat height, it is a solid 3 inches higher than mine, so he can be just a little bit taller than his old man over here.
Maybe it's just normal. Maybe it's just actually.
I don't know.
Why
I mean, how are the top of your knees
so
feeling? Slamming against
It's just slowly getting higher and higher.
Let's see here. So this is where we get our first glimpse of the tornado. Bill makes a hard left. Jonas follows. We start establishing here that Jonas just does everything Bill does because he has no instincts of his own. They make a hard left.
We talked about this for a second, but Bill walking out and like touching the sand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that perfect thing of like, is this motherfucker about to learn something about the tornado because of the dirt on the ground?
I thought he was going to eat it. I got to be completely honest. Just sprinkle a little bit.
So good.
He, of course, they head toward it. They get quickly overtaken by the first tornado here, and they have to hide underneath this tiny little bridge. A bridge that is so strong that it withstands the strength of this F3 tornado, whatever it is, but the truck gets pulled up.
Yeah.
Next to him. This is where we get our first glimpse that Helen Hunt's character is psychotic, and when she sees the storm, oh boy, she gets going because she's like, I want to see it. He's like, Joe, you're crazy. What are you doing? Get back in here. And pulls her 1/2 a foot back, and she's safe.
Yeah.
It's fine. She's safe.
Also, another example of Jamie Gertz being incredible. If my fiance was like, you're going to follow us, and I'm going to leave you alone and you're going to stay in the back so you're safe, I'd be like, no, you are coming with me. You're not allowed to just go gallivant off to do this tornado thing. This is crazy. But she's just like so lovely and gracious about it. Like, yeah, totally.
We get the scene.
I think one of the fun things about her too is that Melissa is slowly exposed. Like she's like, oh, she meets his friends. It's like, oh, they're kind of weird, but that's cool. This is like something that he used to love to do or whatever. And then this thing happens, and she's like, oh shit, like this is dangerous. You did this, and she's like,
wasn't a metaphor.
Yeah, and then I always thought chasing tornadoes was a metaphor. But then it builds and builds in each action sequence until she basically reaches a breaking point, and she's like, "Fuck no, like you're crazy."
This scene's so good though. Like this is where we get the whole team driving in line and like going from car to car. They're all listening to different music. They have their radio set, and I'm like, this just reminds me of like what I imagined in Star Wars, where you see all of them kind of like talking to each other and like, we have a mission, we have a goal, but it's just a bunch of fucks chasing a tornado. It's just so goddamn special that they set it up that way, and then they go off road, and at some point later in the movie, like they have some insane name for going off road. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I can't remember.
It was just like
I don't recall. I don't recall.
It's something way cooler than we're hitting the dirt or something. But like, it's just like they just had a fucking thing that was like they've done this before, and like then chase down this tornado, and the way that they had to get ahead of the tornado and like all this stuff's going on. She's like freaking out about like I need to see it, and it's just like. It was so stressful to watch this because I was like, what was the goal here? I know they explained it. But even when they explain it and you see what they did to get that to happen, it's just like, y'all need Jesus.
Yeah. It's borderline insane. They borderline on the insane.
Yeah, this is the scene that I thought we would get at the ending. So that's when I was like, oh shit, like this is just the beginning. Like we're gonna ramp up from here.
This is also the beginning of the storms being the character of their own, right? Of them chasing them, but then the storm's chasing them. It's a very cat and mouse antagonistic.
The storm gets its own theme song, by the way.
Does it?
The tornado has a fucking theme song.
Well, it should.
It's the only time like choir music plays in this movie, and it just gets more and more like choirific, I'll call it.
They, of course, we get the scene where this truck lands right in front of Jamie Gertz. We get that great line.
The timing of all of that. Where's my truck is so perfect.
Boom. We get the great line from her. You guys said already, but I'll say it anyway. You know, when you used to tell me that you chase storms, deep down, I thought it was a metaphor. Crying. But
what was it like?
What's that?
It was windy.
Good. This is when they start. Thankfully, they're really close to Aunt Meg's house, and they're snacky.
Food.
So they go over food. They chow down.
Aunt Meg is also such like an iconic character. I think even like going back, my mom was like, when I'm retired, I want to be Aunt Meg. I want to be on this cool ass farm. I want to have these cool art metal sculptures. just like living my best hippie life.
I got
maybe,
a couple Aunt Megs for sure.
Yeah, maybe not the like slaughtering cows that were in my front yard. Like maybe I skip over that part, but that's like a goal for sure.
You know, this Aunt May character, very interesting to me because like what a great archetype of a character. I love every single thing she says or does in this movie. 10 out of 10. Her house having the wind chimes. I mean, come the fuck on. Inspired. But the craziest thing to me about this being a disaster film is that every moment I'm like, they keep introducing more and more and more characters. I'm like, that's brilliant. They're going to kill off more and more and more characters. Nope. Not the point of this movie. We don't need cheap deaths to be the thing here. There are a handful, and they're pretty damn brutal later on. But I cannot believe how long it takes for someone to die in this movie. Like, we see houses get eviscerated, and it's a lot. But nobody really gets hurt until later.
Yeah.
I would have bet a lot of money that Aunt Meg died in this. It was a Mandela effect thing where I was like, oh, this is the part where they find her, and she's like, her last breath is like, put their hands together, like you should be together, fuck Melissa, you know what I mean? But no, they bring her out of the house, they're like, and then she goes, go, hey, Bill, go get my dog. And you're thinking it's a small dog. It's the world's biggest fucking golden retriever. And even Bill Paxton, who is not a small man, cannot lift this dog out of this door.
This family keeps forgetting these fucking dogs.
Figure it out. James?
I was just going to say, I think it's great too, because this movie has so many different, like if you go down a path, what you might become, right? and Bill and Joe are like in this point where they haven't yet gone fully committed to a path, but you show all those different paths, and like Melissa is one path for him, and death in a tornado is another path for Joe. But then then you meet Aunt Meg, and you're like, I don't know if it's ever explicitly stated, but for me, it's so obvious that Aunt Meg is Joe's dad's sister, and because they get there and she has like the wind things in her yard, and you're like, that's how she grieved, right? Like that's how she learned to control her grief, is by seeing
these wind chimes.
Is by seeing these wind things that like do it, so like she understands and she can better, and that's like how she grieved. Joe hasn't grieved yet. She hasn't figured out how to grieve. She thinks it's chasing and getting revenge on a tornado, or making it so no one ever gets hurt again, or whatever, you know, like
solving
it's just
the puzzle.
The movie's constantly, like you're saying, introducing these characters, but they all have intent. Carrie Elwes is the version of Bill that took a check, you know, and this went down the corporate path, or it's just great. Like everyone is a different pathway.
Yeah. Then again, we might have talked about this earlier. Maybe it was off camera, but like, are these bad guys really that bad?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't think that these bad guys are that bad. They're chill.
No, I don't think they're that bad, and I think they also do a great job establishing that, because like later on in the movie, they get on the radio and they're like, "You guys, good luck out." Like they basically like go like, well, the goal here is to make sure less people die from tornadoes, right?
But there's also some pretty aggressive Fast and Furious through the cornfield things. It's like, maybe we could just all work together and not deal. If Carrie's going too far, maybe we sit down, Carrie, and be like, hey, you sit this one out.
Well,
We're
they
joining
tried to do that
each
with
other.
him when his like second in command is like, they wouldn't put us in harm's way. And then Carrie was just like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah,
like,
but
let's
nobody
go.
puts Carrie in the corner.
I think it's just like an ego thing for him that he wants to be the guy.
Yeah.
But also, I always think it's interesting too that we never touch back on Joe's mom.
No, yeah, Joe's mom just got written out of the story, as did Toby, sadly.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wanted a future update on Toby.
Where's Toby?
Yeah.
Where's Toby's kin? We're around the table here. This is where we get introduced to the Bill the Extreme, who used to get really hammered and piss naked in front of Twisters or whatever kind of kink he was into. Man, and I'll tell you what, this is where it really dawned on me. The only thing these people talk about is Twisters.
Yeah.
They don't have another thing they talk about in this movie. It's either they're just emphatically interested in Twisters, or Bill and Joe's like weird love affair that they're still having behind Melissa's back. We get a lot of good steak, which makes me incredibly hungry. And then we get introduced to the Fujima scale, an F3, then F4. What's an F4? Or that'll relocate your house. And then Melissa says, is there an F5? And everyone goes silent. What would that be like? And one person replies, the finger of God.
And I was sitting there and I'm like, we're getting an F5 in this fucking movie. Let's go.
Well, they go only one of us has ever seen one, and then it cuts to Joe in the shower, and you're like, oh shit,
badass.
No one's been affected by tornadoes like she has. That's why it's great. It's so good.
So what you said, Nick, their relationship is only the thing that makes their relationship the most toxic thing, which does not make this like a happy or a romantic movie. Ultimately, when you really psychoanalyze it, is all they have is the tornadoes. Like if that was taken out of their relationship, what would that relationship be based on?
Yeah.
Zero, right? It's like it's the reason why we're not we all know that at the end of Speed, like you're like they didn't last, even though I guess they did last for Speed 2 Cruise Control. Remember, it's even Sandra Bullock says like relationships that are
based on
yeah,
traumatic experiences never work out.
And that's probably true. That's why I always felt bad for Bill, because you're like, I was just gonna like 2 years later, you're gonna chase another storm, piss each other off, and go your separate ways, and then Melissa's gonna get a call, and Melissa, of course, at this point has moved on because she has more self-respect for herself, and she's married probably what I could imagine is like a 5'8", 44-year-old Italian man. That'd be hilarious if she wound up with Carrie Elwes in the sequel. It'd be awesome. Anyway, we get a tender moment between her and Aunt Meg.
Yeah, I was like,
what's that?
Very dead.
Very dead.
Oh yeah, good point. Forgot about that.
I thought she was gonna get with Dusty the entire movie. I felt it. I was like, I thought it was gonna be one of those weird moments where she was like, "I like your freak."
Dusty
like,
wanted it, man.
Well, they do have that. They do have that interesting, like, it's kind of an endearing thing. I think it could be misconstrued, but I think it's endearing. Like, when he first meets her, he holds her hand.
Yeah.
And like twirls her around, and I was like, that's pretty adorable. I think that the wind chimes are Aunt Meg's sculptures, right? Doesn't she make these things? Because they have this moment where they talk about it, and she's like, "Hey, Bill's, he's done over you, yada yada yada." Of course, then Dusty calls out, "Guess what, everyone? We got another Twister." Now, I've never been to Oklahoma before, and James and Elise, maybe you have. Maybe you can fill me in on this. But are there Twisters just happening every 5 minutes in this state?
No, it's a string.
Well, I can't say for sure, but we took that train to San Francisco where we saw you guys.
Yeah.
And a tornado delayed us. Yeah. Because it like created debris on the tracks.
I stand correct.
Greg Miller was telling me that like tornadoes are like we had a talk recently because like he was like, oh yeah, like how was it like having earthquakes growing up in San Francisco? And I was just like, I mean, it was a thing, but it really wasn't that much of a thing, but we had to be prepared for the thing. And he was like, yeah, because tornadoes were like a real thing that we prepared for and happened. And
there you go. Okay, terrifying. Well, I stand corrected, of course.
But I think that's why because Roger was saying that's why they show the Earth and the satellite at the beginning, because they're like, you see that portion of Earth and it's all storms. And they're like, oh, something's happening in Oklahoma.
That's right. They do set up that it's like 15 storms. They say it's like 3 storm fronts converging to make all of these tornadoes. But I just think it's hilarious because it's like every time we need a tornado, they're like, oh, it's right there. Let's go get it. Of course.
Call it Tornado Alley, right? That like section of the United States.
Yeah, I'm learning so much about tornadoes in this. Thank you for this.
I have a question too before we get too far. Did anybody ever do the Twister like experience at Universal Studios?
Yeah, I was going to ask about this too.
So Mike did. He was talking about it earlier. He was saying it was like the scariest thing he ever experienced.
Because
like, the roof was like ripping off.
Is that what happened to his back?
All those years ago.
Oh, I went to Universal. I thought it was Disneyland. It was weird. It was far.
Why? What is this voice?
Is it Biden? I don't know what's happening.
It's my Joe Biden.
That's your Biden.
I gotta sleep in my car. I'm gonna sleep in my car. I may or may not be alive still. I mean, they got me at body double.
Snow Biden.
Holy shit.
Anyway, off we go. We chase this thing. This is where we go. Oh shit, we lost the storm. Oh no, we didn't lose the storm. It's not stalled. It's coming right at us. We got to put Dorothy number 1 down, I think. Or no, Dorothy number 2 down now. We're Dorothy 2. This is where Dorothy 2 gets knocked over, and Joe starts freaking out. And she's like, come on, help me. He's like, Joe, let it go. And for no reason, this is where we also get the cone of silence.
Hold on. We can't skip past. What were you gonna say, James?
Didn't you skip the water spouts?
The water spouts. What water spouts?
There's 2 of them. They split.
The sisters.
Oh yes,
the sisters.
Did I miss the cow?
Yeah. Because they go in the truck with Melissa, right?
That's right.
The 3 of them all get in the truck together, and then they go racing out, and then they get caught. And the cows happen. Right?
That's right. Cow.
This is just where things level up. Where me and Raj thought we're gonna get maybe 1 or 2 tornado situations in the movie. This was like, no, fuck it. You're gonna learn so much about different volcanoes, tornadoes, and it's gonna blow your mind because here this shit pops off. And before we get the sisters, which by the way, I don't understand what Twisters is going to bring to us that this movie didn't already bring.
Excellent question.
But
as far as I'm concerned, a nice second place movie, if you know what I'm talking about.
We get the look at the updraft, the angle. Oh, yeah. It's definitely a Sidewinder. I'm like, holy shit, y'all.
Sick.
Like, they introduced the Sidewinder and the sisters, like, back to back. And I'm like, this movie's not fucking around.
And the jumper.
The jumper.
And
got
the
a
jumper,
dude. And then at some point very soon, they started talking about the long ropes. Like, there's a very long rope on the ground. It's very large.
Oh, my God. From here, I think after they get away, this is where the tree branch comes in and sticks them, and they're like, "We gotta get out of here!" And then the gas tanker, which explodes in front of them, which apparently was they had to do that effect twice because the first time the camera malfunctioned or something like that, and Jan de Bont didn't tell the studio and just like billed them for another $500,000 to make the drop the second tanker in front of them.
That's how you do it.
That's the Jan de Bont way, baby. That's Jan's way.
That's a very Michael Bay attitude thing. I think we're jumping around. The problem is all the storms look the same.
They're hard to keep
because it was this water spouts. Then they go to Aunt Meg's. Then they leave Aunt Meg's. They go and they lay the thing, and then they find the jumper and the Sidewinder or whatever. Yep. That destroys Dorothy too. Right, so and she has her freak out, and then they're like, then they're like, we got to chill out, and so then they're like, let's go to the drive-in.
Yes, but before we do that, of course, this is where we get that moment where they're screaming at each other. This is when is it going to be enough? And he says, stop living in the past and start looking at what's right in front of you. And she's like, what? He goes, me, Joe. And now they're arguing on the street, approximately 20 feet away from the car. I don't know how shorthand radios work. But I have to imagine that, I guess in this world, they're always on. They're always broadcasting to anyone that's listening to them, and they pick up every conversation everywhere, just like your phone. Yeah.
Static from the storm.
Because Melissa hears this and finally comes to the conclusion, like, hey, maybe this guy's not for me.
Elise.
Are we all supposed to agree with this guy who's shouting at this woman to forget the horrific event she lived through in her father's? Like, we're all like, yeah, he's got a point. Get over it.
Well, she does have a great line later that I never picked up on until watching this movie, where when they're about to put down Dorothy 4. He goes, hey, it's our last one, and she looks at him and goes, it's the last time. Like, we're not doing this again. Like, we're moving on now, and that's like after they've already kind of. Rekindled the relationship. So I do like that this is sort of set up for that. That makes sense.
I also want to add another fun moment is that Melissa hearing this on the radio, she's getting like rained on. It's like her low point. But then you see Dusty framed almost out of frame holding an umbrella for her. And I always thought that was kind of sweet because like the perception is always like, oh, he saw hot ladies trying to get in her pants or whatever. But like it seems like by this point he's like, this sucks.
Look at that.
I understand this fucking sucks for you. I'm just going to make sure you don't get rained on.
Now, we get into my next, this is my favorite sequence in the movie, which is when they're at the motel next to the drive-in. And I love this because this probably to me is the most Spielbergian-esque of any of the sequences. Namely, we get some of the classic, iconic sort of like camera dollying in as you feel like it's dry outside, but a gust of wind like blows into the protagonist's hair, right? As they're staring off into the impending doom that we don't see. And then, of course, the fucking tornado just comes out of pure darkness and like starts to eat up the drive-through. Before that, of course, we got all the setup of like there's more storms coming. We got the kids. We got the 8 coffees to go, all that stuff. But I love the production design here. I love the motel. I love that it's in the middle of nowhere. I love that there's just The Shining playing and people are just completely and totally unaware of what's about to kill them.
Well, it's like they went to the drive-in to be terrified. Like, right, like you're like, let's go see a horror movie, and then the scariest thing ever eats the screen away, and then is right behind it. I don't know.
And this is about where I thought the supernatural element was about to come into play, right? So before this, right, the last tornado situation, it just kind of disappears, which I don't know if that's how tornadoes work. They probably do, but like they just kind of disintegrate, like it's like I don't know, like a magical spell. And then this one, when the
weather system,
when the static on the TV starts going, when Melissa's in the motel, I thought the tornado was gonna be like, "Hey, we got a big one coming for you guys." Like I'm the tornado.
Oh, now it's like a poltergeist crossover.
Yeah, you had an upbringing, man.
I just thought it. I felt it was gonna happen. I don't know.
I'd say to your point though, Roger, like this is such a great personification of the storm because the first attempts are them going like, "We're gonna stop this storm. We're gonna defeat this storm. We're gonna defeat this storm." But then they try something. The storm goes no, and then the storm comes after them. Right? They're in pursuit, and then suddenly, this is like a James Bond villain would do the same thing. It'd be like, I destroyed the woman that you loved or whatever. I came to your house to kill you. That's when like you up the ante and you're like, oh shit. Like you're ready for the final confrontation.
Well, and that's the line that
is the line. Mokashona put it in here, right? I think I
Chased.
did skip over it, but it is the line of the movie. You've never seen it skip this house and that house and then come after you. So she does feel
is that what you think happened?
Yeah, he's like, you're crazy.
He's like, I wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it worked out. Right before that, of course, Joe screams out, "It's coming! It's heading right for us!" And Bill says, "It's already here."
Oh my God.
And that's when it comes out of the night sky and just starts engulfing them. Want to give a shout out I guess a little nod here. Jo is dressed exactly like Indiana Jones. She has the brown leather jacket and the khakis on, like the Dockers on or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that was just a fun little production design thing. They're like, we want to make her more adventurous and sort of like that protagonist. But anyway,
she and Laura Dern just really had like a great look going in the 90s.
If I'm being okay, so that's an interesting question.
Like Jurassic Park.
Who did it better? Who did it better? Laura Dern or Helen Hunt? I think Laura Dern.
But here's the thing. I'm also going to throw in Chessie from The Parent Trap. She also has a great look.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's complicating things.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
From here we
Shout
go.
Shout out to mediocrely attractive white women.
How dare you?
The rest of us out there.
How dare you? Mediocre.
I mean, I can say this as one of them, so thank you. I appreciate it.
I think you're selling all of yourselves short on that one.
Pre-surgical intervention.
I love this sequence. This is where they go into the sort of hangar that is a auto shop, and they have to hide in the pit. This is where the one guy almost gets his head lopped, almost gets scalped by hubcaps.
We're here, and there's all the scary tools. Is that this scene?
Yeah,
and it's like
that's later.
Oh no,
not the tools. This is where
that's
the
mechanic.
It's the mechanic, and the aluminum siding starts getting pulled off, and all the hubcaps and shit start flying out.
Is the fucking saw just gets shot at him, right?
Yeah.
And it just hits him in the head, and I'm like,
it's a hubcap.
It's a hubcap.
Right?
Oh, really? I thought it was a saw.
No, it's like an aluminum hubcap, but it's a great moment too because he has that. It skins his head, and he's in shock.
It
and
goes
Helen
my
Hunt,
head.
yeah, and Helen Hunt, and I love this little character moment for Helen Hunt too. She doesn't miss a beat. She just goes up and like puts her hand on his head, like stops the bleeding for a second, and like calms him. It's really really good. The storm subsides, of course, and then this is where Melissa finally comes to her senses, and she's like, "Look, I'm gonna go." And she's like, this is not working out. I think we should end this. And he goes, no. And Bill, of course, doesn't even put up a fight. He's like, I never meant for this to happen. She goes,
at first he says, I'll see you back at the hotel. Right. And she's like, no, that is not what this is.
She's like, I won't be there.
Yeah.
She says, the sad thing is, I'm not that upset because you're insane and you're probably going to die soon.
And it's a great line that she says there where she's like, I'm not that sad and I don't know if that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, sure if I should be. And it's like, yeah.
And then she gets a great line where he goes, do you want me to like take you back to the hotel or something? And she goes, no, I know my way home. And then you're like, Jamie, just hit up your boy. You know what I mean? Like, call me up. What's up? This is a 16-year-old Nick.
This scene was wild, man. Like, the way she handles it, I'm like, I just can't. And also Aunt Meg not dying later. Two things I just can't believe this movie had the balls to pull off. And somehow they got this character to a place that she could just look this man in the eyes and say, you know what? This isn't going to work out. Best of luck to you. This is going to be okay. I was like, this is great.
Yeah, and talk about like how bad of a nomination that Razzie is, right? Because she's so good throughout that movie, especially during the when they're eating the steak and eggs, right? And then she's like starting to hear the stories, and you see it in her eyes of like, oh no, this is not the man that I thought I knew, and I need to leave this eventually.
Mm-hmm. I'll say what we're all thinking, and none of us have the balls to say. The Razzies are bullshit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think this is
what they did to Halle Berry.
I mean, that was for Catwoman, right?
Yeah.
She deserved that one. That was a very apropos award.
On the subject of going back to Aunt Meg's, there has to be a version of the script originally where it was the mom.
I maybe, but I do think that now when you put it in that context, it makes sense that they didn't kill off Aunt Meg. Because if they had killed another relative of hers by the twister, that would have like pushed Helen Hunt over the fucking edge.
Yeah, that's like maybe like a psychotic break kind of a moment.
She would use that as evidence that she is personally being targeted.
Yeah. Yes. And to be fair, that's irrefutable evidence. I'd be like, these twisters have it out for you. What did you do in her previous life? Aunt Meg is okay. She wants to drive herself home. We get a banger line from I think Dusty or Eric Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where it's like, Meg, honey, your car's in a tree 2 blocks down. You can't drive. But Tim, then word comes down the pike. Another tornado is upon us. Roger,
what?
Is it an F3?
No.
Tim, is it an F4?
No.
Joey, what F is it?
An F5, baby.
Motherfucking F5. The finger of God is coming toward us.
But they said we're predicting an F5.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Because they got to be scientifically accurate.
Because you can't tell until it's done whether or not it is an F5.
I know it.
This is an important distinction.
Bill knows an F5 when he sees it coming by tasting the sand and smelling the wind. Joe spots the wind chimes and realizes what they need to do. Finally, she's like, "This is the reason why." Of course, we should note that they've tried to figure out why the balls didn't fly. They don't know if they were too heavy or too light, or Dorothy was too heavy. It has to be anchored. Of course, we figured that out. And the balls didn't pick up because they need tiny little wings. And thank God.
And I do love that it's Meg's house and farm that like sets all that.
Well,
going.
I mean, they literally make them look like the Times too, right? She sees that and goes, "This is what we need. We need to spend 45 hours." What is this? Kevin just pulled a Shore received the first Razzie for worst new star of the year for his performance in Encino Man. Kevin, this is fake news.
In 1996, who got the Razzie? It was Pauly Shore. It's just the Razzies doesn't know what they're doing. You know. What I mean?
The following year, he received another reward for the worst actor for his role in Biodome. Clearly, they didn't even watch Biodome.
Who did they think was the right person for that role in Encino Man? Like Kevin Costner would have nailed it. You know, like
Madonna. Well, we spent approximately 5 minutes cutting 400 Pepsi cans up.
Okay, hold on just 1 sec. The Aunt Meg talking to Joe, just being like, Joe, it's an F5. Do it. Go get it. You got to do it. I just love how seriously they take that.
Yeah.
You know, like that to me, I was like, oh, this movie, these writers, they know what they're dealing with and they're giving us everything we're looking for. And then what are we looking for? Some product placement, baby. Product placement in just the most bizarre way. Like this scene bothers me because I've seen these people do insanely stupid things the entire movie, but just the sheer, I know it's a movie. I know I need to just turn my brain off and just be okay with it. Thinking through the logistics of them cutting the cans and making all these pinwheels bothers me, but you see them do it. Yep. You see them go through it with these 3D printer ass things, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
And one of them had a bloody hand. It's realism right there. If they didn't have the bloody hand, I'd be with you. But they put the bloody hand in there. They knew it was going to be sharp.
They did.
Pepsi approved on that one.
The great part about this, too, is how accurate it is, right? Because they cut these pinwheels, they screw them in, right? And we all know that there's nothing more durable or stronger than a soda can.
Yes.
Right? And so when you take a soda can and put it on the back of all these balls and then dump 400 of the balls on top of each other, of course they're going to be structurally intact when they come out. Of course they're going to be able to fly. It's made out of the same stuff they make planes out of. And it hasn't been one plane mishap in the last 6 years.
Never.
They dump these fucking things in. I'm like, there's no way these things are working. Are you kidding me? These things, it's aluminum. Look at this. No, that's full.
You want mine?
No.
What are we doing?
They're buying this product placement, but consider the connotation what this means about Pepsi, that it's disposable. Cans and cans poured out, the contents.
I want to add on to that because I always like imagining we've all been on that side of it where you're dealing with the client and their expectations for an ad sales, some sort of deal or whatever.
Product is portrayed.
And they're like, how can you depict Pepsi? And like, well, we can offer you two options. We can cut up the can. All the cans can be Pepsi cans, and we can make that be the thing that flies. Oh, we like that. Is there anything more? We can also make every single tornado on screen in the radar look like a Pepsi symbol too.
Logo. Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God,
great.
I didn't even catch
That's
that.
the titular.
100%.
That's the title of the film. We'd love that.
The alpha and the omega. This is hilarious, but then so they put them all together. This is it. They dump, I think, Dorothy 3 in the middle of the road and watch as a tree knocks it over and then slides right into them. I apologize. I had this conflated with the other scene. This is where the thing dislodges them, and then they look around and the tanker's up in the air and they're like, oh shit. And this is where the tanker explodes right in front of them. They are down now to their last Dorothy. And Bill says, this is it, the last one. And Joe says, last time.
This is such a great action sequence because I was saying this to Elise. I was like, one of the best things about this movie is that you're like, again, the top 10 list of things that twisters can do. Most people think suck you up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't really do that. Everyone tells you that like the big thing you need to be worried about is it like throwing a fence at you, right? Like, and so
everyone says that.
Everyone's. I always remember the thing. It's like, oh, it can send like a piece of hay through a wall. Like it can treat things like bullets because the wind speed is so high. That's like what's actually dangerous. And so this point when it tosses the semi truck, they go through it, and then it goes past farm equipment. And it's chucking.
Oh my God!
Different pieces of farm, and she left, right, left. It's like she's playing Space Ace.
Yeah.
I love also
love this.
I love also this next sequence, which is I think one of the coolest visuals ever, with the house rolling across the road like tumbleweed.
We're going in.
Bill Paxton just screams, "We're going in," and you're like, it's a bad line delivery, but I fucking love it. And they drive through a house.
Is that what the Universal ride was? Because that's what I assume it is. Is like you're in a car and you're just going through shit.
No, it's like a closed set thing, kind of where you like sit down and they like run you through a bunch of effects, but you're stationary.
Gotcha.
Before that, though, we do get the moment where they look over and they see Jonas and his team, and they have better positioning. So they have a gut check moment with each other where they're like, what's more important, winning this or saving lives? And without skipping a beat, they call it in and they say, Jonas, look, you got better positioning than we do. you need to know you got to anchor it, whatever it is, right? And you got the Dorothy, otherwise it's gonna get like just kicked over or whatever. Jonas is like he's a dick. He's like, fuck you, you don't have to worry about it. And they're like, yeah, and then they're like, well, this thing's headed right for you. Bill sees it, of course, beforehand. He goes, hey, that thing might shift, like back off a little bit. And Jonas is like, fuck you, turns the radio off. And there's that one guy that's like always the smarmy guy and everything. That's his assistant. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to figure. I think he was in the Chris Farley movie at one point, maybe Black Sheep. I'm not quite sure.
Uncle Buck.
Same movie, same energy. He's like, maybe we should do this. And of course, before you know it, the storm takes him over and everything goes dark. And a piece of lighting truss.
Oh my god!
A triangular piece of lighting truss goes straight through his head. Now, where this lighting truss came from in Oklahoma is beyond me.
I think it was like part of a crane.
Oh,
that
see, I was
Spider-Man
thinking it was
goes
the
through.
base of a windmill.
No, it is like if you look over, if you cut wide, that's lighting. It's lighting truss. It's like triangular.
Can I propose a theory?
Yes, go for it.
They were filming the movie Twister,
yeah,
which required a full grip set,
and they had truss,
and it was within that, and it was taken up from their film crew.
That would be my guess. That's a solid guess, but we'll never know. We will never.
This shit
know.
was crazy. A violent death in this movie.
Yeah,
Something that we just haven't. First death. Period.
Yeah.
Like wild stuff. And then
If you don't count Joe's dad.
oh yeah, you're right. They kill him right with this the truss going through him, which was like incredibly Final Destination. And then the truck gets pulled up, and I'm like, oh, they're fucked. It gets thrown around a bit, and then it gets launched at the ground and explodes.
They don't cut it.
We need to see it all, man.
That's wild. Kevin's got here a picture of some sort of straw in a tree.
That's the danger of a tornado right there.
Goes right through your face, man.
I also venture that trucks are simultaneously the MVPs, but then also the losers of Twisters.
Yeah.
I mean,
the fact that like the amount of trucks that were like tossed up and stuff, but like when they throw a full ass Optimus Prime style like semi at them, I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
From here, we have one final shot. They drive into the corn. What is it? Mythbusters episode, Deadly Straw. A piece of straw is busted. Cannot go through a palm tree. Probably no. They said it's busted. It's fake news.
Wind also cannot blow the feathers off a chicken. Good to know.
Oh,
you can try though. From here, we have a great sequence where they take a hard right. They set the truck to on cruise control and through a cornfield. We had a fun piece of trivia here that Helen Hunt got injured here because she opened the door and the corn pushed back and hit her. So some grip was like, maybe if we should wedge the door open because it's really fucking hard to drive through corn, batting a door back at you. On 3, they're gonna jump. 1, 2, 3. They jump out into the corn. Turn back around and watch as the truck heads straight for this massive F5. This is the coolest looking tornado in the whole thing. It goes up, and Dorothy finally takes flight. The sensors all little pop out like little tiny Christmas lights. And then back at home base where the team is just waiting, we see all the data start pouring in. They've finally done it.
Yeah.
They've beat
the data's coming.
so much data. But we're not out of the woods yet, of course, because Joe is being hunted by these tornadoes, and this thing's coming straight for him.
Irrefutable at this point. I don't know. I'm kind of on her side.
At this point, there's irrefutable evidence for sure.
I think I saw it had a knife behind it. Like it was
it's just holding up a picture of her. It's like, yeah, I think that's her. She's 20 years older, but it's her. They head toward a barn. And the first place they go into is a barn full of all sorts of corn shearing.
It's perfect.
And Bill just says, nope.
Yeah, so good.
What is the line? Who are these people?
So they run out. Bold move, by the way. They run out as this tornado starts pulling the barn around, and they see this tiny little shed that they jump into, and they do the little toggle thing with the little tiny lock, and then he looks over and he sees, I guess this is some sort of water pipe shed that they've built around this.
30 feet down.
He looks and he sees the pipes and recognizes, hey, if we tether ourselves to these, are probably 30, 50 feet down, whatever, maybe we'll live. They grab some reins or some sort of like leather straps, strap themselves in as the tornado takes them over, and we finally get a glimpse of what mankind has been hoping to see forever, which is what the inside of an F5 tornado looks like. And spoilers, it looks like how you would imagine it looked like. It's really not that inventive, right? But they see it, they get sucked up into it, everything gets pulled off around them, and then they get let down gently as the storm subsides and passes.
Guys,
all that's left is the water pipes and them wet.
I don't know that I've ever been this let down by a film, just ever in my entire life. Because I just spent the last hour and a half watching this movie just being like, God damn, this is one of my favorite things of all time. I love how stupid it is. I love how seriously they're taking this. Like, they've built this all up. how the fuck did they not kiss in this tornado? How the fuck are they both being blown up from the pipe and not look at each other and just give the first smooch of the film? We should have got it, y'all. They deserved it. Their bodies were up in the perfect formation. Just turn a little bit and make it happen. That was a special moment for them, y'all.
Well, they have the will they won't they the whole time of the kissing.
Yeah,
right?
they were trying to survive him.
Yeah.
Tim,
I'll tell you what.
I'll
tell you what.
The last moment before you potentially die and you like rekindle your love.
I agree.
I don't know.
I agree because I hate the way this movie ends. I fucking hate that they're just sucking face the entire time.
I love it.
I hate it so much.
They're wet.
Helicopter shot.
And Tim, I think that's where we might be at odds here because I love that big old smoocherino we get. A really long, weird one where they're like
everyone's
really
watching.
going at it and everyone's right there.
Everyone's
It would be like if James and I started making out and all of Kind of Funny was 3 feet away.
Just talk about the data. The data's coming in. The data's coming in.
Well, I think like for me specifically, and again, I don't want to spoil Twisters. But speaking largely now, but the movies we're getting, those big cheesy romantic kisses and stuff, they don't do those anymore. Not the way that they used to.
They're not earned.
And so I'm all for the kiss at the end of Twister.
Well, also, when they send the car in, they're like holding hands. They get the data. They turn. They're about to do it, and then they notice the tornadoes. Like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And so it's like put off just a little bit. Nope, you have to survive this to earn your time together or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not opposed a kiss in a movie, and especially in this movie, I wanted it. I think I'm with Tim though. Of like, I didn't think that the ending of it, like after everything, was the wrong place for it. I think it should happen before or during the tornado. Afterward, in the tornado.
It had to be
inside the middle of the tornado. That's what
that would have won every MTV movie award there was if they fucking did it. That would have been up there with Spider-Man, Upside Down Kiss, like the most important kisses of all time. Yeah. The Notebook. It could have been you, Twister.
Then just fading out the movie, just sucking face.
Yes, in the tornado.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be great. You don't know if they live or die.
Nope. Here's the thing: they're tied there to that thing, water's going or whatever. They have that moment, and then you hear. Like the Van Halen song written especially for Twister coming off the radio. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, we do get a couple quippy lines here where they start talking about the dad and who's going to run the lab. And he goes, I'm going to run the lab. And he's like, do you always have to do everything the hard way? And they kiss, of course, as the team celebrates around them. And Oklahoma never saw another tornado again until Glenn Powell came on the scene, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll have to see. I can't
The
wait.
movie isn't over yet. Here's the thing. Helicopter pulls out. Music's rocking. The credits don't go to black. This is one of the few movies that I watch all the way through. Did you guys watch all the credits?
No.
I did not.
You gotta. It's just shots of landscape and weather and a guitar solo that wails for like 8 minutes. I highly recommend booting it back up.
Okay.
Watching that final sequence again. It's awesome. Like, the mood of it is awesome. I always watch the whole credits for Twister because it's just like it's playing the score, but then the score fades out and it's just it's just like a storm 100 miles away in a large landscape, different shots of landscape, and then it's just a guy doing 1 8-minute guitar solo. It's awesome.
Yeah,
just slash.
That's our boy Marco, man. He knows how to compose.
That's the dude, Junkie XL.
God, what a film. I also do love the era of films that just they just kind of end.
Yeah.
And it's
Andy
like
Cortez
we wrapped up as much as we needed to. Let's just move on. But then when we do just get these lingering shots, and it's just like they don't want the movie to end. They want it to keep going, but they're like, we don't need to keep talking. Like you guys get it. Enjoy some fun.
Suck some face.
Suck some face, dude. Welcome to the suck zone, everybody. So we normally do RaGu BaGu, right? RaGu, BaGu. Where we rank the bad guys. I think we have to rank the tornadoes, right?
Sure.
I
love that.
Yeah. So I mean, how do you want to do this?
There's 2 F5s.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
does Carrie Elwes go somewhere in the?
I think he does.
Well, so yeah, that's what we're doing.
I like him too.
We're going to be ranking this against the bad guys of Twisters. So
we're only going to pick.
We're trying to what do we think is the defining bad guy of this movie?
The F5.
Yeah,
because in my mind it's the same F5 that killed her dad.
Yeah. So I'm going to put the F5 in
Storm.
I know that F5.
Yeah.
The F5 and Carrie.
I agree.
We down with that?
Yep.
And Carrie.
The F5 and the Jonas
I think Carrie
Brothers.
deserves to be there.
I mean,
he has to.
No,
the F5 killed Carrie.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say the F5.
But he was the bad guy.
But
Yeah, but
he's not
remember
really
in
the
Bad
bad
Boys 2, there's 2 bad guys, and there's lots of stuff going on. Oh, you wouldn't know because you haven't watched it yet.
Fuck. There's 2 bad guys?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Bad boys.
Yeah.
Whoa. No, I don't think Carrie deserves this.
He has to be.
No.
Main antagonistic force, such a little prick.
We're waiting for the
bad guy that
F5.
dies.
We're waiting for the F5 the entire movie. That is the thing that we start the movie with, we end the movie with.
But we need to add more so that when we're comparing it to the next one, that there's more things to bring up, bring
might be
down,
an F6.
arguments.
We have no idea.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. What's a bigger threat in this movie? The F5 or Joe and Bill's dysfunctional relationship?
Oh.
You know, Nick always
Because I
loves
think Melissa is the only protagonist in this, and I think she got a raw deal. So
Yeah.
I'll put Bill and Joe up there too as the bad guys.
As the villain.
I like that better. I'll take that
Yeah.
better than Carrie.
Then, so that's where we're at. Then currently for the ranking, obviously, Twister is
Number 1.
currently number 1. Will that change next week when we watch and review Twisters? I'm really excited to find out.
I'm so excited for this.
I can't fucking wait.
I keep hearing the clips of that Oklahoma song from it on TikTok, and I'm like, I can't wait to get actual context for this song.
40X.
It's not coming to
I wish
40X
more than
until
anything.
so much
Let's rent the
later.
theater. We can do it.
The 40X theater.
Hell yeah.
$25,000.
James and Lise, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can people find you?
Thanks for having us. You can find us on social media mostly right now at Elise Willems.
Yeah, just search for our names.
So James and Lise Willems, everybody, find them.
I got a dot in mind, but who cares? You'll find me.
Post a lot on James Willems Fitness.
Sometimes, if you want to see pictures of my arms without sleeves,
I do.
Then you go there.
Look how quickly Nick picked up his phone.
Nick already follows
I already
me.
follow it. Yeah.
If there was somewhere we wanted to go to specifically see pictures of your feet, is there any place for that anymore?
That would be probably James Willems, but not so much anymore.
Oh, okay.
My feet. I have to wait for myself to age, and then my feet will change, and then I'll re-up.
Oh, I like that.
Tight.
Whoa. Let us know in the comments below what you think of James's feet and the movie Twister and how excited you might be for Twisters next week. And then just a little preview. What's happening the week after that is I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be on my honeymoon. But this crew's going to be here, and they're going to be watching something. They're going to follow up Twister and Twisters with some disaster movie, but I don't know what it's going to be.
We don't really know yet either. There's a lot of heated debate of options.
A few solid options.
So stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned for some disastrous fun. But until next time, have a marvelous day.